I am here deep in the Scottish wilderness. Yes, in Scotland, in the heart of a forest, because I want to talk about one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. It happened 2 years ago here in the heart of Scotland. So I hope you will indulge me on this little story about one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. I'm back 2 years later, so I will set the stage and sort of walk you through all of this. So I'll ask you guys, do you have a favorite gaming memory that you love to reminisce about? Maybe it was battling late into the night at a sleepover with friends, playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or whatever it happens to be. I have some great memories, of course, of battling my friends in WWF Royal Rumble for hours and hours, or during a hot summer, sitting down in my basement, in my cool parents' basement, while it was blazing hot outside during the summer, taking a break from swim team practice or mowing lawns or whatever to play Metroid and beat Mother Brain for the first time, my first video game that I ever beat. Yes, some incredible memories, but none even come close to the experience that I had 2 years ago here in Scotland. So I'll sort of set the stage for where we're walking and why I'm out here, because just a stone's throw from here is the Scottish Highlands, which is one of the most majestic and beautiful places in the world. If you've ever been, home to many of the film scenes from the movie Braveheart. Most of the Harry Potter films were filmed, of course, in the beautiful Scottish Highlands. And in fact, my wife is with me this trip. This is 2 years later now. And the other day, we just happened to be taking a hike and stumbled across, we didn't even plan this, stumbled across the site where Hagrid's cabin was filmed in the Harry Potter films. There was a little sign that just said Hagrid's cabin is up the hill, the site of it. The cabin is no longer there, of course, because it's a film set, so they tear those sorts of things down. But the exact location where they built it was there. So a bunch of other Harry Potter fans were gathered at this spot. They had hiked up this hill. And it was just so incredible to just, stumble across this spot near the town of Glencoe in Scotland. So that was incredible. But of course, the Scottish Highlands are absolutely majestic, misty and beautiful, and they just take your breath away. So it's just really an incredible place to be and explore. And I've done my share of exploring. So let me take you back 2 years ago, and I'm going to show you the cabin here in a few minutes, but I just want to sort of set the stage. 2 years ago, our oldest kids, my wife said, I think they really want to go to camp. And I said, yes, sleepaway camp, overnight camp. It's a rite of passage. It's an incredible way to build independence for children, self-reliance. There's books written about how great camp is for children, right? That's how you build strong kids. Allow them to have no screens for a couple of weeks, develop new friends, go build campfires, sing songs, play in the forest, fall, bruise your leg, all of that stuff, right? Get poison ivy like I used to. Go to the nurse's station and be covered in poison ivy and all of that. So my wife said, I think the older two want to go. I said, great. She said, why don't you, because we lived in Europe at the time, she said, why don't you take the kids and just stay nearby the camp? Because our youngest was too young to go, so she would stay back in the country of Portugal where we lived, and she'd watch the youngest, she was 6 at the time, I think, 6 or 7. You take the oldest, get something nearby, rent a hotel or whatever. So I found an Airbnb, rented a little cottage in the woods, and just stayed nearby while they were in this camp. And that's where the journey begins. Okay, here we are as we come down this wooded hill. Are you guys ready for the great reveal? So this is the renovated cottage that I rented behind me here. And I rented this for 2 weeks. And the idea was, my wife wanted me to be nearby the kids, and God forbid something should happen, at least there's a parent nearby in country, and I totally get that. But it was perfect for me to be able to kind of camp out here for 2 weeks. So here's where it got fun. So what did I bring with me? I brought with me a 1,000-page book, might even be like 1,100 pages, Pillars of the Earth. I said, I'm going to read this book cover to cover. And I also brought with me my Nintendo Switch, my OLED Nintendo Switch, and my Switch dock. And I said, okay, I'm going to play Tears of the Kingdom, because that was the new game that spring, and I was loving it. And I thought, I'm going to put some serious dent into this game. So I read my book cover to cover, and I sat down and started playing Tears of the Kingdom. And this is where it just got incredible for me. So let me show you inside, let me show you my setup and exactly what this experience was like. So as we walk into this room here, saw a nice little bookshelf, a TV, little chessboard sat here next to a fireplace and a chair. I rotated the chair around, I set up my Nintendo Switch dock, and I just started playing. And I just started playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I was sort of swept into this incredible world for the few hours a day that I got to play this game. In between going and having steak and ale pies and fish and chips and enjoying a few pints at different pubs around town and exploring the whole area. So I would do that, don't get me wrong, I didn't just sit here and play video games the whole time. But in those hours where I just was able to sit, and I spent, I think, 1 solid week exploring the depths. I had enough food supplies in Tears of the Kingdom where I just went into the depths and I didn't come out. I literally didn't come out of the depths for a solid week of gameplay, which is actually pretty hard, because you're not replenishing. It's pretty difficult to actually replenish your health down there, of course. So I just had whole stocked up on meals, and I just built a little weird motorcycle flying cart, and I just flew myself all over the depths, stopping at every light route that I could find and activating every light route that I could find. And by the way, I ended up completing all of the light routes. So once I completed the entire depths, which was pretty great, and it was kind of just eerie with that just sort of eerie music playing. And I would play some YouTube videos in the background, just sort of sitting here watching YouTube videos and just playing Tears of the Kingdom, sitting here by the fire, having a few pints of beer, having some scotch, having some wine on a night, just depending on what day it was, really. And then, after I completed the depths, said, you know what, I'm going to try to tackle every shrine above ground, all across Hyrule. And so then for the next week, that's what I did. Went through and tackled every shrine possible, and just had an incredible experience exploring this world, sitting here by this fire, playing this game, and then of course taking breaks to read my book, make a fire, take walks, explore the Scottish Highlands, all of that. Yeah, it was a pretty incredible experience. And so 2 years later, I'm back. This time brought my lovely wife, and all 3 of my kids are now at camp. So now it's just my wife and I enjoying our exploration time and having incredible meals together and just spending a lot of quality time together, just sitting by the fire reading our books. This time though, I didn't bring a Zelda game. This time I brought the Switch 2, which just launched, and this time I brought Cyberpunk 2077. Is it the same experience as playing Tears of the Kingdom? No. It's not. It's more dystopic and a little bit more adult, maybe less fantastical. But I have been having a blast playing Cyberpunk. But I have to say, nowhere nearly as exciting as it was for me to play Tears of the Kingdom. And you try to relive, I think, certain memories. You say, oh, I'm going to go back and do that all over again. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time I'm having just a totally different experience. Just spending time with my wife and just sitting at meals and just talking and just being a great couple, and reading our books and reading Project Hail Mary right now and really enjoying that, and still enjoying playing an hour here, an hour there of Cyberpunk. Not as much as I got to play before, but I think about this often, and I will tell friends, I think about, oh my God, the time that I rented this little Scottish cottage a couple of years ago, and I just was able to sit with a blanket over me and have a pint of beer and sit by the fireplace and play Tears of the Kingdom and explore Hyrule and explore the depths. And you know what's funny is even with that 2 weeks of play, I still didn't beat the game at the time. Isn't that amazing? Like 2 weeks of playing this game and I was able to finish an 1,100 page book, but I still didn't manage to finish Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, I think after that trip, I put it away for a while and just didn't play it for a few months. And towards the end of the year, during the Christmas season, is when I actually finally beat Tears of the Kingdom. And I completed that, you know, every shrine, every light route. It was pretty exciting. So now, actually, I've been having thoughts, you know, now that it's out on the Switch 2 and there's that Switch 2 upgrade, I have the Switch 2 upgrade and I brought my Tears of the Kingdom cartridge and we have a few more days left here. I'm like, I think maybe I'm going to dive back into Hyrule and just have, you know, play the upgraded version here in this little Scottish cottage. So guys, yeah, I would love to hear your sort of favorite gaming experiences. Thank you for indulging me. I just wanted to kind of share this little story while it's in my brain and see if you guys have any similar experiences in your life playing games. Maybe you went to the beach and you brought your console with you, you brought your Nintendo with you or your N64 with you on a beach trip. And after a long day on the sunny beach, you came back and just laid on the couch and played a few video games. So I'd love to hear your stories. So from Scotland, from the Scottish Highlands area, thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. And as they say in Scotland, if I had a pint of beer right now, I'd say, Slange.